In the crushing dark, 2,000 meters down, the ocean keeps its secrets buried under impossible weight.
Dr. Sarah Chen pressed her forehead against the cold viewport, her world reduced to the submersible's mechanical breath.
The lights carved through the eternal night, revealing a graveyard that defied all charts and logic.
A debris field, frozen in time. A junkyard where history accumulates in millimeters per century.
But it was the smaller objects that arrested her. Dozens, hundreds.
Pilot Marcus Webb held them steady against a current that flowed like the ocean's cold breath. The vessel's metal limb reached down, a patient hunter in the silent deep. The metal fingers closed. Sediment bloomed like a dying sigh from the ocean floor. An Apple Watch, not ancient wreckage. A piece of yesterday, lost in the abyss.
Her mind raced with impossible logistics. A storm, a fallen container, 10,000 lost each year.
But the sonar had been right. This was no random scatter. This was a trail of breadcrumbs.
Meridian, this is Deep I-1. Debris field identified. Consumer electronics. Apple Watches.
The surface commanded, collect samples. The weather window was already closing.
It observed them, these intruders in its world, then dissolved back into the night.
With a basket of 37 salvaged hearts, they began their long ascent to a world of breathable air.
They rose through layers of the ocean, each a world unto itself, leaving the crushing pressure behind.
The transition was always violent, from timeless silence to the raging grip of a surface storm.
On the storm-lashed deck, the deep stillness was ephemeral. The work of understanding began.
In the clinical light of the lab, the watches were just artifacts, corrupted, fouled, silent.
She knew it was futile. Saltwater is a perfect killer of circuits. Yet, the instinct to wake it remained.
But the ocean had left its own epitaph. In the faintest mineral trace, a name. Michael Chen.
Her own surname. A coincidence of millions. Yet it felt like a message from the depths.
It wasn't about profit or data. It was about the act of recovery itself, the refusal to let the deep keep everything.
Each object recovered was a small victory against the entropy that claims all things, given time.
And so they descended again into the vast and patient dark, chasing the ghosts of connection. The surface world faded, a memory of light and storm, replaced by the eternal quiet of the deep. For Chen and Webb, this was a familiar ritual, a pilgrimage into a world of pressure and patience. The lights carved their familiar path, But this time, they searched a new quadrant of the scatter field.
The robotic arm, their mechanical hand, reached out again into the freezing, pressurized dark.
And then, the source. A fragment of the container itself. A rusted skeleton bearing its ribs to the deep.
Chen guided Webb closer. This was the tomb, the point where the modern world had fractured and spilled its contents.
A ghost of identification remained. A number that would, somewhere, be a line in a logistics report. Lost at sea.
They documented the evidence. For insurance, for inquiry, for the simple human need to catalog loss.
The clock was their relentless enemy. The surface weather would grant them no reprieve.
Then, the deep reminded them of its power. A current, like a subterranean river, shook their fragile craft.
Visibility vanished. They were blind in the abyss, hanging in a universe of moving mud. Chen listened to the hull groan under the strain. 3,000 pounds per square inch, testing every seal.
The current passed. The silence returned, deeper than before. The seabed itself had been reshaped.
And in its wake, the ocean revealed more.
The sheer volume of it hit her. Not a tragedy, but a profound carelessness. A leakage of the human world. Then, the sensors caught something new. A whisper of heat in the freezing cold. A chemical signature.
A battery, fractured on impact. Its chemistry slowly bleeding out, a tiny wound in the vast ocean floor.
Chen marked it for study. The environmental impact was minute, but it was a data point, a consequence.
The clock demanded obedience, but the scatter field seemed to stretch on, whispering for just one more.
One more?
A child's drawing adorned its back. A rocket ship. An echo of dreams, now 2,000 meters under.
Chen took a final, mental photograph. The scatter field, the container skeleton, the silent, spreading inventory.
They began to rise, leaving the field to its slow, geological fate. Burial.
Monsters of the deep, evolved for efficiency in a world where a single meal could be months apart.
His fingertip traced an invisible circle on the port. A connection, a farewell, a promise to remember. They surfaced into a world of breathtaking color. The violence of the storm had polished the sky to a brilliant sheen. In the lab, the new artifacts told richer, more complicated stories. Stories of individuals, not just inventory. The rocket ship decal was faded but brave, a symbol of escape, stuck in the one place from which there is no escape.
Each recovered object was cataloged, pixel by pixel, its state of decay becoming a data point in a story of loss.
She began connecting dots. A container number, a shipping lane, storm data from 8 months prior.
The paper confirmed it.
The MV Argonaut. A storm in the North Pacific. One container, unaccounted for.
A line in an insurance ledger, a minor financial adjustment, and below, a silent transformation was underway.
The captain's finger traced another incoming front. 24 hours, Doctor. Then we must go.
And there he was, Michael Chen, Seattle. A real person with a real frustration, now a name in mineral deposits. The window had closed. The Meridian's promise turned its bow towards port, leaving the scatter field behind. With them, they carried a fragment of the field. Behind them, the ocean resumed its work of forgetting. Chen sealed the case. The child's rocket ship was going into another kind of dark. A curated, climate-controlled one. Land. It felt sudden and strangely crowded. The horizon was no longer a perfect, empty circle. The transfer was efficient, sterile. The wonder of the deep reduced to serial numbers and signatures.
She carried the image with her. The silent field.
Back in the world of traffic and rain and screens, the deep felt like a dream. A cold, vivid, pressing dream.
She thought of Michael Chen in Seattle. Had he ever gotten his replacement? Had he moved on? Her fingers hovered over the keys. What could she say? I found your watch. It's at the bottom of the sea.
Some stories are not hers to finish. Some connections are meant to remain in the deep, severed.
In her mind's eye, she saw it. The endless, gentle settling.
Months later, she shared the story, not as a salvage report, but as a parable of the Anthropocene on the abyssal plain.
She spoke of the child's drawing, of hope and escape, sinking into the realm of permanent night.
The artifact moved among them, a tangible piece of a world they would likely never see, but now could imagine.
She had
Okay.
January do her pocket pack.
January 3.
Her little bit at her old ring pin.
Say?
Every day. And also, not once.
The paradox stayed with her. To recover was to interfere.
She preferred her own record, the imperfect, human record of observation and awe.
It was a story of light in the dark, of reaching, of bringing pieces of our world back from the edge of oblivion. And the ocean, as always, kept its surface a perfect secret, a blue lid on a world of silent, accumulating history.
The report was a cold autopsy, material degradation rates, lithium leaching potentials, insurance claim reconciliation figures.
The verdict was clear. The remaining watches would stay. The ocean's claim was now legally, financially ratified.
A part of her had known this would be the answer. The modern world excels at calculating what is worth saving.
The word she chose was settle. Not as in resolve, but as in sediment finding its final resting place.
Each impact was a tiny, final punctuation mark. The end of a circuit's journey. The start of a geological one.
Her profound, personal encounter was reduced to a labeled dot on a graph. It was necessary. It felt like a betrayal.
Above ground, time was measured in seconds, in notifications. Below, it was measured in millimeters of silt per century.
The new model. Water resistant to 50 meters. A universe away from the 2,000-meter depth of its lost cousins.
The before and the astonishing after. The journey from this brilliance to that murky, biological embrace.
Can I help you experience the latest in wearable technology today?
She declined. The story she carried couldn't be overwritten by a new purchase. It was etched too deep.
Words began to flow. Not data points, but a bridge between the human world and the deep's silent receiving room.
This, she realized, was the true story. Not human loss, but the ocean's quiet, biological assessment.
The memo suggested the loss wasn't just a storm. It was a known risk, a calculate one, written off before the container even hit the water.
The carelessness. The silent, accidental graveyard was not an accident. It was a designated zone of disposal.
What was her responsibility now? To science? To the ocean? To the anonymous whistleblower who sent this?
She chose the official channel first, not for glory, but for protection. For the mission, for the crew, for herself.
Our role is evidence, not enforcement. Secure your data. Prepare a dossier.
But move carefully.
Webb, on a new ship, in a new ocean, listened. His face on the pixelated screen was grim.
I'm not surprised, he said.
You see a lot down there, Sarah. You see what people think won't ever see the light again.
The article was a seed, planted in academic soil, waiting for the right conditions to grow into public awareness. She prepared her evidence like an explorer laying out treasures from a distant land, each piece a fragment of a larger truth.
She spoke not of salvage, but of responsibility. Of what it means to send our world into theirs, intentionally or not.
And this, what does this represent to you?
A reminder that everything sinks eventually. The question is, do we look away?
In the sudden storm of attention, she felt a profound quiet. She had done what she could. The story was no longer hers.
The story had teeth.
Public outrage translated into market pressure, into political questions, into shareholder anxiety.
She let it sit. A tangible weight from the world of men, next to a fragment from the world of the deep.
They want to settle, to contain the narrative. They'll offer funding for your research.
The offer was classic. Based on the data, the expectation for salvage remains at 0. We have to move forward with the write-off.
The story had reached the halls of power. The scatter field was now a case study, a line item in a government hearing.
She would bring only the essential images, the map of the crime scene, the evidence of life adapting to our carelessness.
The room was theater. The room was theater. Wood panels, flags, the performative gravity of governance. It felt
listening. The user prompt explicitly requests audio/silence, and the audio description confirms silent.
Senator, we measure the health of an ocean one drop at a time.
And this drop contained a serial number. It contained intent. The bucket is filled by drops no one bothers to count.
This is not about trash. It's about trespass. We are sending our artifacts into an ecosystem that will—
For a moment, the political theater faded. In its place was a simple, strange, and undeniable image from another world.
The machinery of inquiry would grind on, with or without her. She had planted the seed. Others would now water it. Then, a message. From the human world within the machine. A voice from the very ship that had carried the container.
It was the connection she needed. Not to power, but to people. To the conscience that exists even within systems of neglect.
Change, when it comes, is incremental. A new line in a maritime regulation. A slightly higher cost for negligence.
Life returned to the rhythm of salt air and data. The scatter field was a chapter, not the whole book of her work.
Dr. Chen, I read your paper. It's why I'm here.
The audio is silent throughout the duration.
You'll see amazing things down there. And you'll see things that will break your heart. Your job is to care about both.
The fight was not to erase human impact, but to make it accountable. The ocean would do the rest.
She had left the artifact behind. She carried a stone now, a natural object, shaped by older, slower forces.
Time passed. The story sedimented into history, into databases.
Her name was now attached to the site, a footnote in the grand catalog of human impact on the deep ocean.
The personal stories faded, as personal stories do, into the noise of the digital past. The connection severed once more.
Above, the cycle continued. New devices, new promises, new containers moving across the restless sea.
And below, the transformation continued. Slow, inevitable, and utterly complete.